Hello, welcome back to another review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Legacy Evolution Core Class Grimlock. So I haven't done a non-Rise of the Beasts review in a while. Well, there was that one Indiana Jones review that kind of flopped. But anyways, here is Grimlock. I think this is my first Legacy Evolution figure. I got like a few figures from like the original part, which was just Legacy. This is my first one from new part, which is Legacy Evolution. Because I do have this plan to get at least one of every Hasbro Core Class mold. I'm not sure if I'll be able to continue that, seeing as how they're charging like $17 for these guys now. I think it might be 18 in some places, which is just ridiculous. Anyways, here's Grimlock. So he is part of, the Dinobots, and they are going to be releasing the whole team, the whole original team, plus Scar for Volcanicus Combiner, and probably retool into Dinoking. And I will be trying to review all of them. Grimlock is the only one I have at the time of recording this, but I'll probably buy more because completionism. And the combined mode looks really, really cool. So here's Grimlock, and he looks pretty nice for basically a Legends figure that has to transform normally and become a combiner limb. He's basically a triple changer, and again, probably a pre-tool for Dinoking team. He looks quite nice. I feel like his proportions are definitely a bit off due to how he transforms. Most G1 style Grimlock transformations, the torso kind of, or the front part of the torso, it kind of shifts downwards, but it does not in this, meaning it's basically always in that shifted downwards position. So he has a very short torso, which can work for the aesthetic, but with how chunky his arms are as well compared to like the legs, it doesn't fully work for me. I mean, it doesn't look bad, it's just not optimal. But again, it's a core class figure and one that has to combine. But the rest of the ball looks pretty nice. We get some nice, for the most part, actually, this entire thing is all gray plastic. I think, there's only one kind of plastic in here, which is that gray plastic. So we get some nice gold paint in the torso, nice big prominent Autobot symbol, black paint for the hands, the head, bit of metallic blue paint for his visor, which you cannot really see in the video. And then some more gold paint for his claws here, some red for lower legs, red for midriff, or what is there of the midriff, bit of gold for this bit, and then his dino head, we get a bit more of that metallic blue for the T-Rex eyes. And also, surprisingly enough, his accessory, which we'll get onto later, or actually right now, let's quickly take a look at it, is completely coated in silver. So yeah, this is not a good accessory. It's supposed to be a gun, which already I don't really think works for Grimlock. I think like that double barrel gun thing the SS-86 Leader class had kind of worked. With this, just goes in his hand. It looks really stupid. I don't like this weapon. It's coated in silver paint, which is invisible in this mode because this does parts form, sadly, for his Dino mode tail. And I believe it is blast effect compatible, though, so I guess there is one upside. Man, not the biggest fan of this weapon, so we're just gonna throw that away for now and get back onto the actual figure. So despite the proportions being a bit off, he still feels like Grimlock. You can see the head sculpt. Say the paint washes out a ton of the detail, especially on camera, but it certainly is a Grimlock. He has a ton of nice surface detail. Like, there's not a lot of visible paint on the robot mode, but he makes up for just all that nice detail there. And he even has accurate back kibble with these two panels, even if it does sit a little bit too low for my liking. And I just love the idea of having like legend size Dinobots because they're just cute because they're tiny. As for his articulation, we encounter some issues here. So we're gonna start off really strong. Of course, he has head rotation, which after collecting a lot of Rise of the Beast toys, that's rare. Although I did just get this guy who does have head movement, so that's cool. Review coming sometime soon, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, so head rotation, always nice to see. We get ball joints at the shoulders, which kind of act as universals. This part is really cool. Butterfly joint. That's for his combined mode transformation, but you can use it in the robot mode, which is very nice. And we even get a wrist swivel down here, which is, amazing. So far, we're off to a really great start. And then, probably my biggest issue with this figure, there's nothing there. Just Ugh. No elbow bend. That's really annoying. And Grimlock isn't the only one. I'm pretty sure like half of the Dinobots lack elbow bends, which I do get it. These are Legends class figures after transform and combine a tiny size class with a tiny budget, even though there's a very big price attached to that. But with Grimlock here, I can't really see why they did that because, yes, this does have to rotate here, but you know what they could have done? They so easily could have had his elbow be a ball joint, like on Optimus Prime here, so he can actually get an elbow bend, a pretty crucial joint. And for that wrist rotation, there. It's that simple. It would be a bit higher up, but that would still work. But nope, they went with just a mushroom peg down here. I don't know why. But then the rest is really strong. He has a waist swivel. And no, that's not for either of his transformations. It's not for Dino mode. It's not for leg mode. It's purely there because of articulation. I'm all for waist swivels, but maybe they could have used that budget for elbows. Although it is really nice that we do get this waist swivel because that's something very nice. We don't usually get that on core class figures. And the hips are on ball joints, give you actually really nice range of motion. These, of course, do act as universals. You get knee bend, which gives you more than 90. So basically, this would be one of the most articulated Legend class figures, which you would not, or core class figures, I guess, which you would not expect for, you know, a Dinobot, much less Grimlock. Swoop, maybe, but Grimlock? But it's really brought down by lack of elbows, because, once again, that's a crucial joint. And I would say he makes up for it with all his other articulation, but some of the other articulation, like the waist swivel, the budget could have been used for the elbows, because I think, yeah, like all that articulation I just showed you, it's all required for the transformations except for the neck and the waist. The neck, obviously, you have to have that joint, Rise of the Beast toys, but the waist, it's still a very crucial joint, but not as crucial as elbows. Anyways, on to some size comparisons. First of all, here he is with Core Class Optimus Prime, who I showed off earlier. Not the biggest fan of the scale with these two. I mean, scale is kind of tricky to do at Core Class because it's all the same price point. But with stuff like Bumblebee, they made him smaller, but I can see why they didn't do it with Grimlock, because making him bigger would be a lot trickier. However, this scale I really like. This is the Dr. Wu Optimus Prime. I think this... Actually, no, this scale is okay for the raw mode. When we get to the Dino mode, the scale is really nice between these two. Of course, this is third party, it's official, but it is pretty nice scale. If you want an Optimus, that'll scale with the Grimlock and the rest of the Dinobots. Speaking of Dinobots, here he is next to Deluxe Class Cyberverse Slag and Fall of Cybertron Voyager Class Grimlock. So yeah, he is the standard size for a core class. And now we can get on to one of my favorite parts of this figure, the transformation. So this is actually pretty cool. It's kind of like a spin on your classic G1 Grimlock transformation. For the most part, it's pretty basic. So here, we're going to start by just rotating this around. That'll make the feet. So yeah, sadly, well, it's not really sadly, because, I mean, they kind of have to do this. The hands don't really tuck in. Although that does mean he gets these really goofy looking, like, tall hands just to fit in there, which I think looks kind of funny. But anyways, you rotate those around, and you got the dino legs. And this is like the one part that I do see is kind of like a spin on the classic Grimlock transformation. Like I mentioned earlier, usually this front torso bit would kind of rotate downwards. Here, no. This whole back assembly rotates up. Don't forget to bring this little peg with it. It's very tight, because I believe that is the combined mode knee. So it kind of has to be. Because of course you can't have ratchet joints at the size. Once you get this up here, you can rotate down these panels. And you're just going to want to wrap them around his head. Why is it not working? There we go. You just wrap those panels around his head. And you can position the arms, and now it's a dino with legs at the back. Anyways, you want to connect the legs like that. It's a very solid connection. I recommend when pulling them apart for his robot mode conversion, I recommend pulling like this. The one time, showing up there, pull it like that instead of that, because it'll put a lot less stress on the parts. Same like putting them together. And then you're gonna want to this part only like kind of bending the legs over. You have to use a combination of both and do it very specifically, and it'll tab into a section in there right above the screw. And then get that all situated properly. There you go. So that is his dynamo transformation, but you're gonna notice empty back there because you do sadly need a parts from the gun. I'm not too upset about this because it's a Legends figure and it's just a tiny little chunk. Although he does need it to stand because he's too back heavy. So if you try to have him standing like that, he's just gonna fall back. So you have to have him standing basically upwards, like those older depictions of the T-Rex. But there we go. So that's actually a pretty fun transformation. And it gives us this adorable little Robo T-Rex. This is the reason I really wanted Core Class Dinobots, because it's just so cute to have these little like pocket-sized dinosaurs. And just look at him. Look into his eyes. Look at him. Well, of course, this is kind of compromised with this huge tail here. It's like you cover that up, and you have like the perfect Legends class Grimlock. I mean, it just looks like a shrunken down SS-86. Like, that looks perfect. And then that. Although, honestly, it doesn't look, the legs here don't look as bad as they do in the robot mode, because I've kind of gotten used to his proportions here, so it's fine. As for articulation, his head can look up and down. Sadly, no mouth movement. Arms are static, but his legs, you are able to kind of kick those out so you could have him running like that, I guess. And one thing, when I first saw this, I thought that his head was like a reused model from the Studio Series 86, which I keep mentioning, but yet I do not own. I thought it was like that, similar to what they did with the Core Class Studio Series 86 Ironhide. But no, just judging my images, does seem to be a new mold, although it is very similar. It even lacks teeth at the front, it's just filled in there. I do like that with Transformers, they don't have to have the torso slide down because they can't do that due to these butterfly joints here. Yet, it still ends up as stomach area because it rotates around. So, it's just a very cute little dino mode. You can see this. This is the scale I like. Dr. Wu Prime and this Grimlock in his T-Rex mode. I really like this scale. The robot mode, I feel like Grimlock is a bit too big. But here, I really like how these two look together. And you can do the Age of Extinction thing. You can ride on Grimlock, although his legs are going to be pretty sore for a while after doing that. Anyways, that's it for my review of the, Legacy Evolution Core Class Grimlock. A great start to the Core Class Dinobots, even though he's technically one of the last ones to be released. It's the first one I'm getting, so for me, it's a great start. He definitely has quite a few compromises for that combined mode, and the robot mode, I think, suffers the most. But he's still fun, and you get a really cute little dino mode, and the lack of knees doesn't matter, or lack of elbows doesn't matter too much in the dino mode, I guess. And if you're wondering why I did not look at his leg mode in this, because it's not really relevant now. I'm probably gonna end up doing a full video with the whole combined mode once the final component releases and I buy all of them, and in that I'll talk about the individual modes. So anyways, if you liked the video, then give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, then don't. Bye.